Hi, Kalpun Piso here. This is interesting what's happening here in November in Mumbai, in India. Rampage! All the religious psychotics are attacking the Christ-psychotics in the hotel. In other words, the Christianity-infected West. To any action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. This is the cause.
Oh boy.
It's tricky, he told me it's tricky.
Yeah, I know the cause of all this problem. I know the cause of all this problem. Christian.
It really shows us and proves that we create everything thought with our brains, and of course, God. Believing in imaginary friends of gods and all that is a form of neurological disorder.
Reaction against the Christ-psychotic. This is what Christ-psychotic insanity originated from. This, unfortunately, sick people could not keep their mental illness to themselves. They have to impose it on themselves. They have to
that
impose
Christianity initiated intolerance and about every kind of despicable immorality you can think of with their insanity. And, the Crusades and the Inquisitions and everything else. There was a period in 1804, well, actually before that, that seemed like the world was going to be saved. A great hero came about. His name was Napoleon. After the French Revolution and the appointed by God, anointed the God kings, Louis XVI and the Empress Marie Antoinette were killed, and the goddess reason started ruling, and then Napoleon emerged. He was tremendously intellectual. He was mentally healthy, an atheist. He said, religion is good. It's good, it's necessary because it keeps the masses quiet. This is what he During the French Revolution, all the Christ-psychotic European kingdoms, they tried to fight France. And Napoleon became a very good general that defeated the enemies. So therefore, he was elected consul, one of the consuls. And then he decided to go to Egypt because he wanted to find out about the Egyptian civilization that nobody knew anything about. Went over to Egypt, and then the British went after him. He returned to France. He was extremely curious at the Egyptian civilization. Here he is looking at a mummy. After went to escape to France, and the British came over and took the Rosetta Stone. Here is the Pope Pius VII, which was the retard of the Vatican at the time. Then Napoleon became emperor.
to him. Somebody put him in his...
Napoleon became then emperor. Everybody, the troops loved him. He was like a new Caesar. New God and Savior Julius Caesar. And he was an atheist. Very intellectual. But anyway, so he decided to, be emperor. I mean, everybody hated him. All the other countries were all Christianity infected, especially England. They were completely, they were really upset. So therefore, he even developed the Napoleonic Code that you have in Louisiana. Amazing. The guy, he only slept like 4 hours a night. But then he became emperor, and he had to be crowned. So guess what he did? He invited the retarded Christ-psychotic Pius VII to crown him. When he showed up, guess what he did? He crowned himself, and he crowned Josephine the Empress. That's what he did to the retarded. This coronation was immortalized by great painter Jacques-Louis David. It's an immense painter that is called Le Sacre, and it's at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Anybody can see it. But he sure, put the stupid retarded in his place. And this stupid retarded used to be, there was a sentence by Voltaire used to be said in French, écraser l'infâme, crush the infamous.
Today.
We must realize that we had, Europe was totally Christ-psychotic, affected with Catholics and Protestant Christ-psychosis. And then we have the French Revolution, first the American independence, 1776, and then the French Revolution, and who remained successful in this, and the hero was Napoleon, an atheist, a mentally healthy person, becomes a consul of France, and then he went to Egypt for as an expedition. The man was intellectual. He wanted to find out things. He went to Egypt to understand the ancient, study the ancient Egyptian civilization, and because of that, he was influential in discovering of course, the Rosetta Stone and the translation of the hieroglyphs.
Mumbai massacre at the hotel, thanks to Christianity.
And then he said, I can't
Those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it.
This is going to take
June 18, 1815, Waterloo. Napoleon loses. It was banned to the island of Santa Helena, where he died, poisoned with arsenic by the devious, retarded, Christ-psychotic British. Nice of them. So of course, the Bourbons, the Christian infected, anointed by the grace of the zombie tooth fairy, became in control. They start controlling France again, the Bourbon kings, and then the whole mess that happened after that.
Of India, and they end up actually raping India, the Christ-psychotic British, and Protestants, of course, and they started bringing missionaries all over the place, and that was the most despicable thing that can ever happen. Missionaries, Christian missionaries, the most despicable Christian missionaries. They all these territories, everything England, and then they divide them in any way that the greatest. They make a slave out of these people. They corrupt them. They give immorality, Christianity. Christianity.
Well, the British Indian Empire included many countries. Divided in Asia, including, of course, Afghanistan, Burma, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan, and, of course, even Iraq. And then what the retards did, since they were so stupidly ignorant Christians, they divided everything in half. That's what happened to Kashmir and India. They, put in different tribes in one side and in the other one, then they start having a problem, all claiming the whole thing. The same thing happened in Northern Africa, which they claim, and of course they join with France and Americans, and they start doing everything they wanted, controlling everything. They retard all Christians. And then, of course, the problem with missionaries happened because they try to impose their Christian deviancy on everybody else.
I guess the point here that you're trying to make here is
what's happening in the world today?
Whether it's Al-Qaeda or not, it certainly would be in sync with Al-Qaeda goals.
And the people that are responsible for all the enmity and intolerance and genocide in the world are Christian missionaries. They are the lowest of the low. These people are despicable, and they are because of all the problems. And the United States and all the other countries don't prevent these retards to go to places that they do not belong, imposing their devious, genocidal, immoral beliefs on everybody else and the natives. That is the problem, and this is what's happening today. That's the reason the Muslims are really pissed at us, at the West, at the West.
Greek Cypriot demands for union with Greece.
Christian Greek
by Turkish
Cypriots
for partition of the island. It was the beginning of a British policy of divide and rule.
Christian British
Britain responded
policy.
with brutal force to the insurrection. Aoka supporters were imprisoned, and some were executed.
By Christians, of course.
After
Typical.
5 years of violence, scale exchange of populations was necessary.
That's what religious psychosis does to
Weakened
people.
Turkish Cypriots
Look
on
at
the
this.
south and north of the island.
These people cannot live in peace because of the psychosis that infects them. Why Kashmir? I'll tell you why.
tribal areas.
Because of all this is Christianity. It's the missionaries and the retarded
Education should be the most important thing. Teaching the kids about history and completely forbid anyone, missionaries, to go over there and impose their retarded beliefs on everybody else. That will solve it. Who's the invader? Who's trying to impose their garbage immorality beliefs on everybody else? They're not the Muslims, not the Hindus, nobody else, except the piece of garbage, Christian, immoral, deceitful fools. They come over everyone else. Who conquered the Americas? A despicable Columbus, a Christ-psychotic imbecile. What about Australia? And all the other continents, all the Christian pieces of shit. Those are the problem. Those are lunatics are the problem. This is the reason I get upset. I'm sorry. I shouldn't get upset. But the world is, the problems we have in the world is thanks to these retards. That's the reason Al-Qaeda and all these people are, are completely pissed at all of us. Those Christians, they belong in mental institutions. Pace de oro.